what body of water am I over? The amount of time that has transpired that apparently I was asleep for is not enough time for me to arrive over any body of water. That flashes through his mind. In addition to that, he looks at his gas gauge and it's at 3/4 tank. And he knew that not only is that way too high, but he wouldn't have had, even if he had 3 hours, he wouldn't have had enough gas to reach any water body. So wouldn't have had enough gas, but have 3/4 tank of gas. Also, again, how did I get here? I have no idea how I got here. Has no idea where he is. And as he's like coming to like, what's happening here? Somebody chimes in over the radio and goes, hey, are you there? And he grabs this radio and he's totally frantic. He's like, hey, I fell asleep in my plane. I don't know where I am. And there's a pause, and this is all recorded. There's a pause, and the guy on the other end, he introduces himself sort of cautiously. He's like, hey, this is Carlos. Are you alone in your airplane? And Rafael is like, of course I'm alone. Like, where am I? What? I think I fell asleep. I don't know what's going on. And Carlos's reaction is just sort of, okay, well, listen, here's what we're gonna do. You're just off the coast of Acapulco. And for the last hour, you've been flying out over the water. You just kind of showed up, right? And by the way, going back to the timeline, he arrived off the coast of Acapulco now an hour earlier. That was 10:30 in the morning, took off at 9:15. Takes 3 hours to get there. He apparently did it in about an hour and 15 minutes. So he's circling over the water. And Carlos is like, hey, just come into the airport where I am. I'm gonna get you in there, you're gonna land, and we'll talk to you then. And so Rafael is just happy to be alive at this point. He comes in, he lands at the airport in Acapulco. And as soon as he gets off, there's these people in suits that are there to meet him. And they immediately take him, they detain him, put him in like a black car. He's asking what's going on, nobody knows, or they don't tell him, and they drive him to a hospital. And he's the whole time saying, I'm so sorry about the craft. Please tell where I flew out of that I'm sorry about the craft. I hope it's not damaged. They bring him to the hospital, they drug test him right away. He's not on drugs, he's sober. And they also have a psychologist come in and they give him a profile, make sure he's sane, and she determines that he is. And so the whole time, Rafael has no idea what's happening. He doesn't know what they're doing. He doesn't understand any of this. And so finally they say, okay, we're gonna tell you what happened. So when you showed up off the coast of Acapulco at about 10:30 in the morning, which no one understands how you got there, it's not possible. You showed up on the radar screen of who you were talking to, Carlos, the air traffic control guy. And he talked to you for an hour while you were out over the water. That whole time you were circling, you were talking to him, and it was recorded. And I'm gonna read to you the first thing that Rafael said to Carlos. And you're gonna see in a minute why Carlos's first question when Rafael came to was, is there somebody else in the plane? He said in a very deep, almost robotic voice, when Carlos saw this blip on his radar at 10:30, said, hey, who is this? You're flying over Acapulco's coast. What's going on here? The voice came back and said, the pilot is speaking, but not of his own free will. We are using him as a microphone. Your equipment is too primitive. It is not important who we are or where we come from, only that we are inhabitants of the same universe. For the next 30 to 45 minutes, the voice being projected through Rafael talked about humanity is the only intelligent species in the entire universe that uses warfare and conducts violence on each other. And you are poised for a nuclear holocaust, and you may be exterminated if this continues. And then at about 11:30, Rafael wakes up and his voice changed completely. And he's like, oh, what's going on? I think I fell asleep at the wheel. And that's why Carlos is like, wait a minute, I've been talking to you for an hour. And he's like, is somebody else in the craft with you, right? No one has any idea how Rafael wound up over the coast. They examined his plane, nothing wrong with his plane. It really was 3/4 tanks of gas. Didn't make sense how it got there. Nobody knows. Rafael has no idea how he got there.